Hi, this is Chris Howard, host of Plugged In with Chris Howard. BetOnline is the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for all your sports betting action. BetOnline has more ways to stay in on the action with the latest odds, news, scores, even live in-game betting while the games are being played. With the largest selection of odds on everything from Major League Baseball, NHL, and UFC, and professional golf, BetOnline remains the number one source for all your sports wagering info. In between games, head over to the BetOnline's casino with all the top Vegas-style games, including poker and live casino. BetOnline, the game starts here.
Imagine a world where every occasion, big or small, can be marked by a physical token of love, where you can open your mailbox and find a heartfelt message, a beautiful illustration, or a cartoon of a grouchy old lady who's had it up to here. It turns out this world exists, thanks to one visionary man who believed a humble greeting card could connect us, comfort us, and celebrate the extraordinary moments of life. With an expansion into media and real estate and $3.5 billion in annual revenue, it's clear that small gestures can add up to big buckaroos, and that this brand has become synonymous with all the warm, cozy feelings of human connection. And that's why this week's On Brand is on Hallmark.
You're all jazzed up, really having a cow. You want your favorite show and it's on right now. It's on brand.
Hi, and welcome to On Brand with Jon and Marisa. I'm Jon.
I'm Marisa. Jon, big bombshell.
So, again, we find ourselves in, actually, this is not uncharted territory, but it almost is uncharted territory. As you know, Marisa and I like to take turns surprising each other with the brands that we're going to do. And we had a little crossover with Campbell's. So in order for that not to happen again, I showed Alistair, our producer, and I'm going to say that word with quotes right now, our producer, what my final two shows are for the year. One being Hallmark and the other one being a surprise still. Well, I've just learned that he didn't remember that for more than 5 minutes, and now you're doing the show that I've been researching for the last 2 weeks. So hello.
Hello and welcome, Jon. How was your Black Friday?
You know what? It got a lot blacker just now. No, it was good. I mean, I didn't really get that into shopping this year. I don't know if you did.
You didn't buy a big 90-inch plasma screen TV?
No, I did not buy television. There's been so many videos of people filming like Walmart and Target and all the Best Buy where just nobody was showing up. Like it's the end of the weekend and there's still piles of TV. I don't know if it's...
Piles of TV?
Piles of TVs.
You call plural TVs TV?
TVs. Sorry, I'm still... You have to forgive me for the first 5 minutes. I'm still shook right now about the whole Hallmark thing. But yeah, apparently people just aren't shopping as much right now. And a big thing going around on TikTok is Target has all their like Black Friday like pricing on everything, and people are like, "Oh, I wonder what it was before that," and they'll like lift the sign up, and it was the exact same price as it was before Black Friday.
Yes, I have heard that the Black Friday is largely a scam, that they artificially, well, and my husband David used to work at a department store when he was a teenager, and they would do that same thing where they would like raise the price and say 80% off when really that was the price all along. And I've heard that the items that are manufactured for Black Friday, like the TVs, are actually like different bad TVs that they only sell for Black Friday.
Oh, I have not heard that. That reminds me of like outlet stores. Like outlets used to be like overstock and stuff, but then once the outlet craze happened, they started to make like outlet clothing that was like just lower quality clothing.
So what'd you buy? What'd you buy? Not a big TV.
I really didn't buy much. I bought like a couple of autographed books.
I'm sorry, what? I'm sorry, what?
I bought Barnes & Noble every year releases signed books for Black Friday, and I always enjoy looking at those, so I bought a couple of those.
What books? What books did you buy?
I mean, you know, just a couple of books.
What books?
I got they're books. All right, so they're books I don't really care about. In my head, I was like, I'm going to become a flipper of signed books, and this will be me dipping my toe into that.
This would be like your fifth job.
I know, and one that I've already tried and I know I'm too lazy for. So off to the storage unit these will go. But I got Arnold Schwarzenegger's book because everybody was grabbing it, and I was like, that's a hot item. I got some like fantasy book that they told me at Barnes & Noble was like the hot book. That was the only one that was behind the counter.
Okay.
So they're like, you're going to want this one if you want books. So I got that. And then a Natalie Portman children's book, which I may keep for myself.
Okay.
Because she seemed like such a big star. And that, I mean, it was like cool, Natalie Portman. I like autographs. We know that.
Yeah, that's fun.
Yeah. So
Anything else?
No, not really. I didn't get much else.
What'd you go to Target for?
Oh, I didn't go to Target to shop.
Well, okay, so I asked John what he had done on the weekend, and he said he had bounced around. He went to Barnes & Noble, he went to Target, and I say, what'd you buy at Target? And he's been so cagey about what he bought at Target. Now I'm hearing you didn't buy anything at Target.
Well, I didn't go to Target to shop.
What'd you go to Target for?
Listen, I can't tell you exactly what I went to Target for.
Why?
What I will tell you...
Wait, no. Are you kidding? We're on the pod. We talk about everything on the pod.
What I will tell you is that you and all of the brand freaks will soon find out why I went to Target. It's an on-brand related mission I was on.
Okay. Research mission?
Let's just say it was a mission, and all will be revealed soon.
Is it related to Hallmark? If so, now's the time.
Don't bring up Hallmark. The last thing I want to hear about is Hallmark.
Oh,
so
boy.
don't bring it up for the rest of the episode. I
Well,
don't want to learn anything. No.
One of us has an Emmy for research, and it ain't me. So I'm sure you've found some kind of like deep microfiche archives about Hallmark that I did not come across.
Well, I'll just save those for myself. So you've decorated for Christmas. We're now in the new season. Thanksgiving's behind us. We're on this slide towards
death.
Well, that Christmas and the New Year.
This is when things really speed up and I start to panic. Like in my mind, it's time is like slipping through my hands. Like December feels like it goes by so fast. And every year I say I'm not going to try to like make a checklist of everything I need to do, like to make it feel special. But then I can't not do it. And I'm like, okay, I need to go on the little train ride and look at the lights. I need to go, you know what I mean? There's just like so many little things I feel like I have to cross off. I wasn't going to do Elf on the Shelf this year. I told myself that wasn't a commitment I could handle because I remember last year I would be like laying in bed. I'd wake up at 2 a.m. panicked that the elf had not been moved.
And I gave you, for a little backstory, I gave you your Elf on a Shelf.
Yes. I don't know how you got it. I don't know how you get anything you get.
Clearance. I got it on clearance.
Oh, yes. You got a boy and a girl and you kept the boy for yourself.
I kept the boy for myself.
And where's the boy?
I don't know. I'll have to see in the morning. I have to surprise myself in the middle of the night.
He's sitting in a little igloo made of marshmallows.
I just throw him into the living room from my bedroom and act surprised.
Yeah, that's fun. Yeah, so I wasn't planning on doing Elf on the Shelf. And then as we were unpacking like the tree and the ornaments and all that stuff, David had just put the elf like on the kitchen counter, like it was just unpacking Christmas decorations. And then, so of course the kids see it. They're like, remember that elf? And I'm like, well, now I have to.
Now you have to. You know, I told you on TikTok, I've been getting tons of advertisement for these. Now there's people that sell like an entire kit, an Elf on the Shelf kit. You get like a giant box with like 30 bags in it. Each bag is for one night. It's like tonight the elf is going to make cookies and it comes with time. It like gives you everything that you need.
I mean, half of me loves it, but then half of me is like, God, it was so much easier to be a mom in the 80s.
Yeah.
I think I went to see Santa maybe like 3 times my entire childhood.
I honestly don't, and my siblings can correct me if I'm wrong. I don't remember ever going to see Santa.
Of course.
I don't know of one photograph of me with Santa.
Absolutely. It was not expected. And now, like, because of social media, we know what everything every other family is doing. So there's like a feeling of inadequacy if it's like, my kids haven't pet a reindeer yet this year. I'm failing. Like, what am I even doing? What am I even doing?
Yeah, that's way too stressful.
Yeah, it's
no,
too
we
much.
don't have any of that.
Too much.
Hey, real quick aside, can I detour from brands for a second?
Sure.
I'm going to do a life rant real
Okay,
quick. Okay. So, I'm a grumpy person. We all make fun of it. I'm
Charlie Brown type.
I'm Charlie Brown. I'm eclectic. I have my quirks, all that stuff. But I try to be a good person. So this weekend in particular, like, it was a very giving weekend. I get up on Thanksgiving. We fed over 1,000 people in Hollywood. I get up on Sunday. Like, I go down to Skid Row and feed people. I wake up, I go out to my car, and someone someone just wrote ass on my car. Like, just on the roof of my car.
In what?
Their finger, like in the dust, it just says ass. I was like, what? Like, I was up all early, like, I gotta go do good. And it's just like ass. So I just want to say to whoever did that, thanks.
Do you think it was a brand freak? Maybe because we talk a lot about your ass on the show?
Maybe, yeah. It's probably a brand freak. Found my home address. No, it could be my upstairs neighbor because he's loud and I yell sometimes, but he's the only one I can think of. Anyway, I just wanted to get that off my chest.
That's one of those things I've never personally done, written in the dust of another car.
Why would you?
Have you ever done that?
Not that I can
Wash
think.
me.
No.
No.
I mean, that's so dumb. No, I don't think so.
Ass. I have done that to your car the other night.
I do like it when I've seen videos where people, like artists, will like do a very detailed finger drawing on the back of a car. That's cool. I mean, that's fun. But no, I've never bothered with someone's car.
Ass. Draw like a highly detailed ass. Don't just write ass. Use your artistry to draw an ass.
Yeah, I'd
on the
rather
roof of this
see
car.
a big ass on my windshield than read it. I mean, what a passive aggressive way to insult me. Anyway, let's move on. I just needed to vent it. So,
Yeah.
Hallmark. Don't know much about this
Wonder
brand.
how that started.
Are we talking about the cards or the movie or all of it?
I mean, all of it.
Oh, good.
Do you want to take over? You can do it. I'll just chill out.
No, I haven't even like bullet pointed my notes or anything.
Maybe you've forgotten it.
No, I've been actively working on it for the last 2 weeks. I was working on it an hour ago.
Oh, boy.
No, it's good, Alistair. It's good.
It's good. He's a good producer. He's worth every penny of what he's paid. Nothing, as are all of us. We're doing this for our health because it's fun.
Gratis.
Gratis. So, John, Hallmark.
Hallmark. What
So
a
when
story.
we say Hallmark, what comes to mind? What feelings rise in your loins?
1910. For some reason, I'm feeling the
It
year
is 1910, yeah.
1910.
Joyce Clyde got off the train in Kansas City.
I was going to go into the postcard boom. You're probably not
I'm asking you personally.
Oh,
what are your
oh.
feelings about Hallmark?
Hallmark. You know what's so funny about this? So I guess in last week's episode of the podcast, I mentioned
Band-Aids. Somebody
I
thought you
mentioned
were hinting
Band-Aids
at
twice, and I had thrown out there that I kind of wanted to be like Taylor Swift and start doing Easter eggs for what my future episodes will be.
Mm-hmm.
So someone wrote on Instagram, he said Band-Aids twice. Maybe that's the thing. It wasn't the thing. I hadn't done an Easter egg yet. I was going to do it in this episode, and what I was going to say to you is, okay, here's the whole story.
You're so far ahead that you prepared your Easter eggs.
I did. I had my Easter egg ready for Hallmark. I was going to tell you, first of all, I was going to bring up Adele and my confetti obsession.
Yes.
You've made fun of it. I like to crawl on the ground after a concert and collect confetti.
Mm-hmm.
Well, 2 weeks ago, someone on the Adele Reddit was like, hey, I bought my parents Adele tickets for a gift. And for Christmas, I would like to put together a framed thing of Adele, but I wasn't able to get any confetti. Does anyone out there have any extra confetti? I reached out and I was like, you know what? I do. I have all the different confetti moments. I'm happy to send you some.
Wow.
So that justified me getting confetti. So I wanted to let you know that. So I knew I had to make a trip to the post office. I was like, you know what? I'm going to go to the post office. I'm going to send out a couple Thanksgiving cards. So I sent my sister one. I sent her a thank you card for the birthday sandwiches she sent me. I sent a couple of cards out. And telling you the story about those cards was going to be
the
my
Easter
Easter
egg.
egg for Hallmark. So there you go.
I love you mailing confetti.
Yeah, to a fan. You know how happy that's going to make her?
Of course.
She can't get that anywhere else. And I even sent her the very special confetti that only came down on top of Adele when she disappears into the stage. That's the hardest confetti to get. And I gave her some of all of it. So I'm not saying I'm a hero.
You're
but
a good man. You're not worthy of somebody writing ass on your car.
I was about to say, I guess I'm just an ass. So yeah, I had planned my Easter egg. But for me, okay, Hallmark. So the conversation I would have about that is how writing in general, and definitely like sending cards, has kind of become a lost art. I feel like I do get a handful of cards every holiday. If I am in the mood to send out cards, I usually buy a box of cards. They're not necessarily Hallmark. I feel like when I'm back home and I go to my sister's house or like couples' homes, I feel like most people now use like a service where they take a photograph of the family and they get a bunch of cards printed out and everybody sends those.
Yeah.
I do feel like going to get a Hallmark card at the store is maybe a dwindling errand. I don't know. I could be wrong. I'm sure that there's obviously a lot more competition, but I don't go out and get a card often. And now when I do, I want that card to be exciting. Like every time I send my mom a card now, like I get one of those like
the music
bell and whistle cards.
Yeah.
Or like a dancing taco. My friend Polly and I do that. Like she sends these great cards that like pop up into like, it looks like a bouquet of flowers or something.
Yeah.
Like you kind of want something bigger and better.
Hallmark
and maybe
does make those
I was
too.
about to say, I'm sure Hallmark probably does that now, but Card sending to me seems to be a dying art. Prove me wrong.
Yeah, I'd say you're not wrong. I went pretty deep. Somehow reading reviews for products, I could like spend the rest of my life doing that for some reason. Like
I do that all the time.
I love going really deep into the underwater cave that is reviews. And all the reviews you can look at reviews for individual cards on Hallmark's website. And I was like in that world for a really long time.
I love that.
And a lot of the reviews were like, I'm 77. I buy 10 of the same card, and I sent them to like all my friends, and they call me and they're dying laughing at the card, and I'm dying laughing. This generation, they love card humor. Like there's a character, Maxine, which is like the grumpy old lady
from the 80s.
From the 80s, but still now. And she has like calendars and she has a lot of greeting cards. And old ladies love this old lady, Maxine. She'll have a joke like, if at first you don't succeed, you probably had a man helping you. That's Maxine saying that. You know, things like that. So she's hilarious.
Yes.
And these old women, their reviews, they're like doubled over laughing, like looking at Maxine. Like they might pass. Like they're so they're gonna keel over.
But if they did, at least they would die happy.
Of course. And
Who
so
wouldn't want to die laughing at Maxine?
I don't know if that's just the type of person who leaves a review for a greeting card on the Hallmark.com website. That might be an older person.
No.
The act of going to a Hallmark store and buying the card and writing it, that might be something for the 77 plus. Though honestly, getting into this episode and like doing this research, I want to like be this person more. I feel compelled now to like buy a stack of Hallmark cards and like send them out to everybody I know just as a cute little, I'm thinking of you.
We'll do it. Can you only buy a Hallmark card in a Hallmark store? Or
no, they're all over. So
they're everywhere.
They're at Target. There are the specific Hallmark Crown stores, but they're everywhere. They have a line at 99-cent stores. So the price point ranges. You could get the 99-cent version. You could get the one that's like $15, $20 that has like the pop-ups and this music and all the bells and whistles. So, you know, there's something for everybody. To me, I find it to be like a really sweet part of our culture that I would be sad if that went away. Because you know what? Dare I say, an email just ain't the same.
I think that's obvious that
an email ain't the same.
That an email ain't the same. I would definitely agree with that. I used to work with somebody, and I won't mention his name.
James Cameron.
No.
Beat that.
No, it wasn't Mr. Cameron. But I did work with someone, and I was with him one day at his office, and he was going through his cards, and he would open them, read them, and then place them in the garbage can. I was like, as someone who has a cabinet of curiosities and has a storage unit, I was like, what are you doing? He's like, well, I read what they wanted to say to me. I have no need for this card.
That's really disrespectful to the card.
It felt insane to me. I have to at least have it propped up on a table for a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Like, enjoy it. I definitely keep mine way too long.
You have to be getting so many cards that like you simply have run out of horizontal space to display. It's like there's no longer feasible to not put them in the trash. Like that's your only option.
I don't think it was that. I think it seemed like it wasn't very sentimental, or we're just wired differently.
Yeah, I'm the same way. If I get a card, I have it displayed for probably a month.
Yeah.
And then I'll like stand over the trash, do this too, where like it's time for the card to go. Maybe it's January, they're Christmas cards, or maybe whatever. It's like a birthday card. If it's especially sentimental, I will save it. But you're kind of saying goodbye. You're saying thank you to the card before you throw it in the trash.
No.
You have a little moment with it?
No.
You just chuck it?
No, I keep it.
Oh, okay.
I have every card that's ever been sent to me.
Do you really?
No. Okay, I finally did have to establish a rule. I went through a bunch of old cards. This is a really dumb rule. But if I didn't remember who the person was, then that definitely got trashed.
I think that's a really good rule.
Yeah, that. But then also, if they didn't really write anything in it, like if they just wrote like love, whatever their name is, then I didn't feel quite as compelled to keep it. If they...
Unless it's Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Unless it's Arnold or a celebrity, Natalie Portman. But if they wrote something, I do struggle with tossing that.
It's very small to keep.
Yeah.
It's smaller than like... How many lightsabers do you have?
Okay. I mean, what? I have one that's like, well, that's not what this episode is
Well, you
about.
know what I mean. It's like a small sentimental thing to get, whereas you have like one large lightsaber. That like takes up a lot of space. Like you could like roll up and fit like, how many cards would fit in a lightsaber? 80? Rolled up real small?
That's how.
Did you ever get the cloak from Disneyland?
No, I went. Who did I go with? I went to Disneyland.
So this is at Galaxy's Edge at Disneyland, the Star Wars land. You can buy a lightsaber. You can like deck it all out with all your favorite baubles and beads.
Yeah, so when Star Wars Land opened, Alistair and I went pretty soon after it opened, and I had regretted not buying a Jedi robe for a couple years. Throughout the pandemic, I was like, why didn't I buy that robe? So I finally got a chance to go back to Disneyland, and they still had the robe. And just for a tiny bit of backstory, I think I've shared this on the pod before. When I was a kid, a lot of the times I was in my backyard with my brown hoodie on, pretending I was Obi-Wan Kenobi, and I would slowly put my hood up on my hoodie, and that's who I wanted to be. So this robe was kind of like a full circle thing for me. But then I was standing there waiting to get to the mirror to try it on, and like this similarly bodied man was already doing that. And I had the advantage of seeing what he looked like from behind and realizing that that's what I looked like from behind and how ridiculous it all seemed.
Yeah.
So I didn't purchase the robe.
Aw.
Yeah, I didn't need it, which is probably good.
Yeah, I mean, unless you have like a full-size mannequin to display it on in the corner of your house.
Who knows? There is a chance I have a full-size mannequin in
Probably.
storage.
Check the storage unit.
The new NBA and MLB season is in full swing, and BetOnline has you covered with the best odds and biggest promotions and live in-game betting on all your favorite teams. Head to BetOnline today to stay updated on all the action. BetOnline, the game starts here.
Are you looking for a new job or want a career change? Look no further than Monster.com. Need a little help standing out? Our expert resume writing services will make sure you shine. Want to brush up on your interview skills? Engage with our AI interview prep tool. Want some advice on negotiating your new salary? Visit our salary tools and extensive library of career advice articles, and you'll have all the tips and tricks you'll need to succeed. Visit Monster.com today and take the first step towards your career. Monster.com. Find your right job fit.
So as you mentioned earlier, 1910 is when the hero of our story, Joyce Clyde Hall, and I got excited because I heard Joyce Hall and I thought, finally, a brand started by a woman.
No.
It's a man named Joyce.
It's a man named Joyce.
He was named after the last name of like the family's like favorite reverend was like in town the night he was born. So he was named Joyce. So he spent his whole life as Joyce. Not a woman, not yet. 100-year-old company. He grew up very poor. He traveled like door to door with his brother selling perfume. And then eventually he decided to give postcards a shot. So they were kind of selling door to door postcards. But in their little town, they were limited on, you know, if you live in a small town, how many postcards can you realistically sell? So he got on a train to Kansas City, Missouri. And that is where the story really, really takes off. Is any of this ringing a bell, John?
It does. And one of the things I was going to go in on this, and I won't step on your toes, Ralph,
No,
but I
please.
did find it very interesting that postcards was such a thing. And a couple nights ago, I looked up, like, when was the postcard boom? And it was during this time. Like, postcards were all the rage at this time.
Yeah, postcards were probably like texting. Like, you would probably like send a postcard that was like, you up. 2 days later, you get one back that was like, not now, I'm in the field farming.
Right. Yeah, that's exactly how they were used. So clearly, they were an important piece of communique.
Of course.
So I love it. And I do believe he dropped out of school also. So I love it when any of our people are like, from a modern day parent's point of view, you're like, wait, you're dropping out of school, and then they go on to...
Yes, absolutely. Not only was he peddling perfume door to door as like a 9-year-old, but then he did drop out of school to pursue his postcard dream, and he got off the train with nothing but 2 shoeboxes of postcards under his arm.
Do you know why he picked that city?
No, do you?
I do.
Oh, great. See, this is why we're a perfect team.
No, it wasn't a city he was that familiar with, but he did pick it because it had so many lines of travel that would allow him to jump from city to city quickly, so he could be a salesman to a larger area very easily.
Yes, that's right. I do remember reading that. So he didn't have enough money to take a horse-drawn cab to his lodgings at the YMCA. Did you know that?
No.
So poor, he didn't even have money to pay for a horse-drawn cab.
Wow.
Can you believe it? sleeping in a moth-filled YMCA bed is a future billionaire.
Wow.
I mean, based on all of our research in 1910, it seems like that YMCA must have just been filled with future billionaires.
Yeah, probably was.
So he quickly made a name for himself with his picture postcards, and he was joined by his brother Rollie. Do you remember that his brother's name was Rollie? That's a fun name. Rollie. So these parents named their sons Joyce, Rollie, and William. So they're fun.
Yeah, very unconventional names.
So he called on drugstores, bookstores, gift shops. They're selling us his postcards. His brother Rollie joined him. They opened a specialty store in downtown Kansas City selling postcards, gifts, books, and stationery. That is very similar to a modern-day Hallmark store. Have you been into a Hallmark store?
You know, a Hallmark store was kind of, yes, I have been into a Hallmark store. It kind of reminds me of like my high school shoplifting days. Like, there was nothing I really need in a Hallmark store. And as a kid, there's definitely nothing I'm going to pay for in a Hallmark store. But there's definitely stuff I wouldn't mind having from a Hallmark store.
Like what? What would you steal from a Hallmark store?
Probably like a Snoopy ornament or like, you know, some like like a little tchotchke stuff. They had like cute little gifty things.
One of those little angels that's like this.
Yeah, a crystal angel that's like this. I was going to say, you know, like those little gifty things that you're never going to want. Well, most people my age probably wouldn't have wanted it all, but me personally wanted but wouldn't have paid for.
Most 16-year-old vampires probably aren't in the market for an angel looking like this.
I mean, to be honest, I never got an angel looking like this, but
I loved a Hallmark store.
You know what I would have stolen?
What?
Okay, here is something I did steal, a crystal ball. I don't know that was from a Hallmark store, but it was from a gift shop. But you know what I would have stolen from a Hallmark store?
What?
And still would, given the opportunity?
What?
Like a feather pen.
Oh, yes.
Like a quill. Like a cool, like, feathery...
Well, I had a quill. Did you have a quill?
I had a quill.
Okay. I feel like this is some of our weird, like, childhood quirkiness overlap. If we haven't told these stories on the pod, John and I both slept in the closet for a little while as kids.
I slept in the closet pretending it was a coffin.
Yeah, I just wanted to make my own little cozy apartment. We both had, like, coffee tables with candy on them, like, in our bedrooms.
Yeah,
we both wrote with a quill.
Yeah, I definitely went through a quill phase and a sealed wax phase.
Yes.
I not only went through a sealed wax phase, I bought like a cursive G. Like I had a thing made.
I mean, talk about sending cards.
Yeah. I mean, this was so long ago, but I loved the nostalgia of the old-timey communique.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Second time you said communique. Is that a word?
Is that a Easter egg? I don't know, because I don't know what my next show is.
I loved Hallmark stores. There was a Hallmark store in the shopping center that was like my grocery store that I went to growing up as a kid. It was a Hallmark store, there was a Petco, and a grocery store. And I was like in heaven. With those three, I mean, you can do no wrong.
I feel like Hallmark also had like a plethora of like Garfield stuff.
Yes.
They had a lot of licensed things.
They had a lot of like Mickey stuff, Snoopy, Garfield.
And now Star Wars.
A ton of Christmas ornaments, just like little cute, cozy collectibles, walls of I loved stationery and stickers as a kid, a ton of stationery, little like music boxes. It was like, I feel like little trinkets and treasures were just like a big part of the culture.
That's what it was. But it was also like, it kind of like felt like it was more for the elite, because you could go there and buy a smaller roll of like wrapping paper for a higher price point, or a huge roll at Walmart. Like it was kind of like you went there if you were willing to spend money on those things.
You're paying for the boutique experience,
I guess,
of being in a Hallmark store.
I mean, I guess.
In my mind, a Hallmark store was Christmas year round, but I know it wasn't, because why would it be? But in my mind, there was always a Christmas tree dripping with ornaments.
It does have that vibe. I think they went through all the holidays.
Yeah, and it is kind of like vaguely religious. So maybe I'm just thinking of the angel.
And Hallmark would be the type of place where they would have a series, like an annual series. Like, this is the new Snoopy ornament of 2023 or whatever.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
And that is like, mark your calendars. You better be there when the doors open.
I mean, that's brand loyalty 101.
Absolutely.
You get those 77-year-old women who are writing reviews on Hallmark.com. Those are the people that will come back every year to buy that
They
ornament.
do mention, a lot of them mention that in their reviews, that they've been shopping at Hallmark stores for years and that they get the seasonal ornament every year. The keepsake ornament every year. So as you alluded to, there was a devastating fire that was 5 years and a day after Joyce's arrival in Kansas City.
Oh my gosh.
Wow. His entire inventory was wiped out by fire. The only thing that was salvaged was a safe, and they set up shop again. So they were $17,000 in debt getting back on their feet. They decided to press onward. Postcard sales were declining as the public had an increased desire for more privacy and communication. Isn't that interesting?
That makes sense, yeah.
Because have you ever in your life handled a postcard without reading it, sneaking one little peek?
No, you got to read a postcard.
You got to read a
Postcards
postcard
open for everybody. But now people are getting more secret. So we're moving into a time where they want to write something, be able to fold it and slip it into an envelope.
You think in 1915 was maybe peak secrecy in the U.S.?
Yes, it was the secret boom.
Yeah, definitely a lot of maybe tawdry communication.
But that is interesting, though. You take things like that for granted. That
A sealed envelope?
Yeah, a sealed envelope. Definitely.
We do take sealed envelopes for granted. I agree. So they recognized that desire. They decided to start offering high-quality Valentine's and Christmas cards mailed in envelopes. Wow, envelopes. So they bought printing presses. They began producing their own cards. This is 1915. That's huge. Well, John, because you did research this brand, this was my big bombshell. You ready?
I may not know. I wasn't done with my research.
I'm sure you know that in 1917, the Hall brothers invented gift wrap.
How do you want me to react? Do you want me to be surprised?
Please.
They invented wrapping paper?
They did.
How?
Up until that point, gifts were only wrapped in tissue paper.
Oh, in what?
In tissue paper.
Red, green, and white tissue. But so how did they solve that?
During peak Christmas season, they ran out of solid-colored gift paper, tissue paper. They improvised by selling the fancy decorated French envelope linings.
That's genius.
They sold out so quickly, the brothers decided to begin printing their own wrapping paper. And this is new to you? You didn't research this?
No, this is shocking. This is going to send waves through the podcast community.
This was my big bombshell.
I know. It was going to be one of mine, too. I told someone yesterday, I was like, did you know the Hallmark brothers invented wrapping paper?
I've been telling people all over town that the Hallmark brothers invented wrapping paper. And honestly, it's not about us surprising each other. This is for the fans.
Right.
You can take this to your cookie parties and Secret Santas. Next time you're at an office, a Secret Santa party, a white elephant, you have a tidbit. The Hallmark brothers invented wrapping paper.
You know, I was telling my friend Scott about it because I was telling him the conversation that you and I have had on the pod. If you came up with any idea from 1880 to 1920 that hadn't been done before, you were guaranteed a successful empire.
Absolutely. You're a billionaire today. Your grandchildren will never know hunger.
And wrapping paper was one of them. So at this point, were they called Hallmark? When did they come up with the name Hallmark and how?
Well, you know what? Joyce, he was intrigued by the word hallmark, used by goldsmiths as a mark of quality. So he wanted to replace the name, which was the Hall Brothers Company on the back of the greeting cards, with a Hallmark card. Everybody was against it, but he said it. He wanted to make the change. He did it, and the rest is history.
That's interesting.
Is it interesting?
No, it is, because I would have thought, had I researched it, I would have assumed that the name just came as an extension of Hall, their last name. But in reality, it did come from this whole other thing that he admired, the Goldsmith's Hallmark, as you mentioned, which was a sign that allowed people to know, who manufactured it. It's kind of that whole, quality, showed people that it was a sign of quality.
Yeah, it's kind of perfect. It's if your name was John Excellent Podcast.
Oh, okay, I have a better example. No, I don't want to say better because that's not. So years ago, I worked on a thing for Lucasfilm, and I had to go up to Lucasfilm. And when you go, they've moved since then, but you would go up and you would get off on Lucas Valley Road.
That's
off
cool.
of the freeway. And I was like, oh my God, you're powerful when they name a whole road after you. And then I was talking to somebody when I was there, and turns out Lucas Valley Road wasn't named after George Lucas. He was looking at two different properties at the time, and one of them happened to be on Lucas Valley Road, and his friend was like, well, yeah, pick that one. It's got your name in it.
Wow.
And I thought that was really funny, because I assume most people probably think that it was named after him, like I did.
I mean, if you did see a house that was on Glover Lane, I mean, you would do everything in your power to buy it.
I don't know. There actually is a Glover Road
There is?
in LA, and it doesn't look like the fanciest. Like, not that I need the fanciest.
The
but
fanciest?
I know. Now I seem like a snob. But no, yes, I would. Yes, of course. I'll try my best to move on to Glover Road.
Thank you. Well, we'll see if you know this one.
Okay.
So 1932, the Hall brothers are starting to dabble in licensing. This isn't something that was like mainstream at the time. Ringing any bells, John?
No, but I'm going to throw out Disney.
So the company signed a deal to create new greeting cards that showcased Walt Disney's characters. But you know what helped the deal along? Did you know that Walt Disney was an elementary school classmate of Joyce's wife, Elizabeth?
I didn't even know that it was Walt Disney. I was just literally guessing, because if it was that time period and Disney was trying to get their claws into everything,
There
of
you go.
course they would have hooked up with
You don't have an Emmy for nothing.
I don't
Let's
have
just
an
say
Emmy
that.
for nothing.
The license was a success, and it actually helped Hallmark weather the Great Depression.
Good for them.
Because
Smart move.
everybody likes a little Mickey.
Mickey really is a good license to have, especially back then. Did you see some of the pictures of the Macy's parade, the early Mickey Mouses?
No, are they scary?
Oh my God. Or look up any of like Disneyland when it first opened, what the Mickey looked like walking around the park. It's terrifying.
What do you look like?
You just look it up.
Okay, great. We'll post it.
He's not nearly as polished as he is now.
I see.
It's a very scary looking mouse.
A first draft of Mickey. That's like a season 1 Simpsons. Everyone's all like pointy.
It's like a Tracy Ullman. Yeah, Tracy Ullman Simpsons.
Okay, so up to the 1960s, Joyce, he had a vision for revitalizing Kansas City where he lived. So he had this idea to turn the area around the Hallmark headquarters into a like 85-acre section of the city with like retail, residential, offices, entertainment. And now to this day, it's like a tourist destination. You can go see like live theater. There's like a Lego land experience. There's an aquarium.
It sounds like someone else I know.
That perv.
Milton Hershey. And I believe when I went on my little rant of greatness and all the things he did, you went on a little toilet cam
Well,
rant.
Joyce didn't put cameras in all the toilets,
Didn't
John.
he?
He didn't.
Put some toilet cams
Well,
in
if
there.
he did, it wasn't on Wikipedia or the Hallmark corporate website.
Wow.
So during the 1970s, that's when they started doing their keepsake ornaments you mentioned. And that actually sparked the phenomenon of ornament collecting. Wow. You speaking as a collector?
No, I think it's different because I think that's more like in the 80s when people bought like collector's plates or anything out of like Parade magazine.
Yes.
Like everything was like kind of subscription based to like keep the money flowing.
So you don't collect ornaments, you collect coins.
I don't even collect coins. Do I have a coin collection? Yes. Was I surprised to find out that? Yes. But no, I think this was kind of like this was a very smart way of that time to like keep customers coming back.
Oh, yeah, of course. This I thought was interesting for you as an art fan. So in 1964, they started acquiring a big collection of photography that would eventually become legendary. So it was 6,500 photographs covering the history of American photography from 1839 onward. So they had like dagger types. They had Andy Warhol's, Annie Leibovitz. They had this like massive photography collection that they had used the licensing in their cards. And then they ended up donating this like $65 million value to Kansas City's Museum of Art, making the institution one of the world's foremost centers for photography history. You love photography. You love Andy Warhol. That's a fun fact for you.
I know. I thought it was really neat when I read it last week. But I will say I did not know it before I had learned it last week.
I mean, it would be weird if you did know it before, because I don't think anybody knows that unless they were on Hallmark.com/corporate values.
I see what you're saying, but a lot of times my job is as an archival producer,
Yes.
so I'm always using photography collections and footage collections. So I was a little surprised that I had not heard of that before.
Yeah, that is surprising then. You've never licensed anything from the Hallmark archive. There you go. Did you know that Hallmark invented Rainbow Bright?
No.
You didn't?
No.
You really didn't?
Tell me all about it. For the love of God, let me learn something.
Wow. Okay, so this is a fun fact for you at a Secret Santa or any of the listeners. So we all remember Rainbow Bright. Were you into Rainbow Bright?
Why? Because I'm gay? No.
Yeah.
But I mean, I knew of her. I was aware of her presence. Did I dress like her? No.
She was a creation of Hallmark's designers in 1981 to find traction with girls in the 3 to 7 age range. So I really liked Rainbow Bright. I definitely had some Rainbow Bright bed sheets. It was a rival to Strawberry Shortcake, who was created by American Greetings. So this was a time where greeting card companies were like, inventing like media superstars, because Rainbow Bright went on to have like an animated series, an animated feature film that had a theatrical release, and it all started from a greeting card. She was like a top media icon, and it was licensed to Mattel. So
I
there you
had
go.
no idea that. And I did not know that Strawberry Shortcake was made by American Greetings.
Isn't that crazy?
Now there's your podcast. There's your
If I can get one thing that Emmy Award-winning researcher did not find.
Well, to be fair, I just hadn't gotten that far down the timeline yet. I would hit that up tonight or tomorrow. And I never had Strawberry Shortcake either, but my sister did. And I got to say, those things smelled good.
Oh, God, I could close my eyes and go immediately back to the smell of a Strawberry Shortcake doll.
And she had her whole gang of friends, right? She had like Blueberry Betty and Lemon Meringue.
Yeah, they're all
Linda
scented.
And all those.
With whatever like poisonous fragrance they were putting on toys in the 80s. But they smelled absolutely delicious.
I can't tell you how much I miss a time where selling a mass product that is scented was something that happened. Madonna released the Immaculate Collection album. It was doused in patchouli.
Wow.
Swatch sold scented watches at a time. Scratch and Sniff stickers. The 80s was all about the scent.
Scent was huge in the 80s.
And I miss that because I don't feel like anyone does that anymore.
Yeah, is anything scented anymore?
Nothing scented. I mean, maybe if they are, let us know, but I can't think of anything.
Yeah, maybe whatever like chemical they were using for like scent. It's like a finite resource, like helium.
Yeah. I just don't think it's a thing anymore. I think it was just a fad.
Space machines. You know, Crayola, the manufacturer of crayons. Crayons.
Yeah, crayons.
So actually, this is something you can help me with. So Hallmark bought Crayola in 1984 for $204 million. John, how much would that be today?
You're gonna do that? I know this episode frontwards and backwards almost completely. You're gonna give me a valuation question?
Yeah, you're my
I'm gonna make
inflation
Alistair
station.
look it up since he's the one that
Got us in this pickle.
got us in this situation.
Today, that would be $604 million. I'd say that's a pretty good investment.
Yeah, it was a smart move. Yo, I was surprised to find out that seemed... I had no idea that there was a connection there.
Yeah, that's not a brand that I feel any kind of synergy with at all. I'm not seeing like a lot of crayon-themed greeting cards or a lot of greeting card-themed crayons.
I mean, if they have never done a line of cards that were kind of in the vein of coloring books, that seems like a missed opportunity. Like a child's birthday card that they can also color in, and they get like 3
a pack of crayons
with it.
Yeah, well, as we know, this is half a brand podcast and half a just like free marketing advice. So
Yeah.
if you're at Crayola or Hallmark, you should be listening to this.
You know, one thing I did not learn anything about, and maybe you can tell me about this, is like the people that are like behind the scenes of writing the cards or drawing the pictures or any of that stuff.
Well, there's actually one special lady named Mary Hamilton, and she has been a Hallmark employee for over 60 years. She calls her creations cutes, and they have made her a legend among greeting card fans. So on her 55th Hallmark anniversary in 2010, a New York Times report said colleagues were quoted calling her our rock star and Hallmark's Cher. So she has made so many iconic, beautifully designed, beautifully illustrated cards that she is like a legend in the greeting card community. And if you look at a Hallmark card, they're signed Mary. So if you see like the illustration, look for one that says Mary, very tiny on the corner. And then you'll know that that's a Mary Hamilton original.
That's fun. I like that.
That's fun. That's a little Easter egg out there next time you're in the greeting card aisle.
Yeah.
And a Hallmark's most iconic card, this is not a Mary one, this is before her time, was called the Pansy card. Is this a card you've ever given or received?
There's a picture of a pansy on it.
There's a picture of a little porcelain push cart filled with purple pansies, and it says, to let you know I'm thinking of you. And this has been a sales juggernaut since its introduction for Mother's Day in 1939. It is Hallmark's longest running offering, and it is their most popular card in the history of greeting cards.
It sounds so boring. I mean, no offense. It just sounds like so boring.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's one of those that's good for any occasion. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, what would you, like, if you find that somebody, like, broke their leg? Like, it's just like, just let you know I'm thinking of you. Al's face is lighting up like perhaps he recognizes this card. Did you just look it up? You've seen it?
It looks familiar.
Looks familiar.
I went through a phase, as maybe other people have, where I would give cards that were for very different occasions than what what I'm actually getting
That's fun.
for. Like a congratulations on the new baby for like a birthday card, like wacky things. That wackiness I went through.
Yeah, you're a pretty wacky
I'm
guy.
such a wacky guy.
Well, we play that fun game where I send like a picture. If I see a greeting card in the wild, I'll take a picture of the front, and then I'll text it to like John and Al and my husband David, and we'll try to guess. They'll try to guess what the inside of the card is. So here's one from the Hallmark website. It's that funny old lady Maxine, and she's dressed in like a Dracula cape. So this is for Halloween. And she says, I thought I saw a werewolf in my bathroom. So that's the front of the card. So like John might text something funny like,
oh, she's dressed like a vampire?
She says, I thought I saw a werewolf in my bathroom. And keep in mind, this is a funny, crabby old lady.
I hope he doesn't expect me to suck him. Is honestly how I would have replied.
Well, the inside of the card says, turns out I just needed to shave my legs. Which is also very funny.
That is a good card.
And that is one that the reviews on the website, like if you just feel like reading some reviews, go to Hallmark.com, poke around on some cards. People are saying like, my friends have laughed a lot over this one. Like, I mean, I imagine people are just getting the card, they just open it, and they laugh and laugh and laugh. And that's just that's something special that Hallmark can do, you know, with their funny cards.
I love that people have such a connection to these cards. But okay, so forgive me if I'm jumping ahead. If you still have more to do with cards. When honestly, at this point, when I think of Hallmark, it's about the Christmas movie. I am a huge Hallmark, Lifetime, Hulu, Netflix, any sort of Christmas movie person. In July, they now show them for the whole month of July. I just have them on in the background all the time.
For sure.
From October 31st. I was watching one before I left here. I can't emphasize enough that it is almost always what's on my television for the 2 months leading up to Christmas.
And now, I mean, they have like romantic, sweet movies year round. That's kind of like become part of their programming. In November 2017, which might even have been like peak of Christmas movies, because these have become like a sensation. Like Hallmark Christmas movies, it's like an event.
It's the countdown to Christmas.
It's the countdown to Christmas.
On Saturday, you get the new movie. There's a stable of about, I would say, 12 actors that are in all of these movies. There's like 6 women and 6 men that cover all of them. They fall into probably 8 categories of film. I know them all. As soon as you start watching one, you know which category it is. You wait to see who's in it. It's a formula. It's a formula that they have perfected.
So the Christmas Train, I don't know if you've seen that, but that's a Hallmark Hall of Fame movie. And that movie beat all 4 major broadcast networks in the ratings in the one night that the Christmas Train premiered. And that is a really good movie. It's very bizarre. It has an insane twist ending. You have to see it if you haven't.
That one was in 2017.
That was in 2017 that debuted. And as you said...
I mean, there's the Christmas shoes, where every time she puts on a pair of shoes, she goes to a different time in her life. There's so many stories.
Yeah, and they said in their upfronts in 2009, a reporter said that the channel had built a brand on formulaic romantic movies, explaining that while other media companies were thrashing around a tumultuous, confusing sea of unpredictability, the Hallmark Channel was thriving with the television equivalent of comfort food. Would you say that this is the television equivalent of comfort food, John?
I would. I absolutely would.
Describing their popularity, the New Yorker was writing that they usually feature independent women with interesting jobs, appealing romantic prospects, and being set in towns where residents care for one another, run viable small businesses, and compete in gingerbread bake-offs. America as we might wish it were, and as some believe it once was. So this is like the kind of feeling they want to evoke. It's kind of like small town. It's maybe a little bit more leaning a little more religious. But this is like, it's meant to be cozy and kind of like familiar, nostalgic for what people might say like, oh, the good old days where like you knew your neighbors and you like, you know, had a little small bakery that wasn't run out of town by Walmart. This is the kind of America that people want to live in, and you can escape to that via your Hallmark movie.
Yeah. And one of the things I found interesting is they were saying like now none of the movies really involve like magic or things like that, where I guess when they were first starting out, that was kind of a bigger theme. And that's not something that I necessarily would have
very
paid
anti-witch.
Yeah, they're super anti-witch. Paid attention to, but it's interesting to see that they are kind of always ebbing and flowing, but it doesn't really matter because they have so much programming to fill. All those ones that they've already made are getting shown also, like, because it's a 24 hours a day thing.
Oh, for sure.
For like 2 months. So you'll see them all eventually, but
yeah, I mean, they used to do just like one new movie a month, and then now they do, I mean, over 30 movies a year. So that's not just including their Christmas. So they do New Year, new movies in January. They do Winterfest. They do Love-uary. They do Spring into Love in March and April, Countdown to Summer, Summer Nights, Christmas in July, June Weddings, Fall Harvest, with the Countdown to Christmas, which starts on October 1st. And more people watch this than they watch, like, I'm going to say the Super Bowl. I'm sure that's not true. But a lot of people watch these movies, and we do love them. Which one were you watching today before you came over?
Honestly, I couldn't even tell you. 99% of the time, I can't. It's not like, oh, this one's on. It is just, I live alone, so I always either have television or music playing. And if I have television on during November, December, it's usually Hallmark or Lifetime.
You're just comforted by hearing Candace Cameron's voice.
I'm starting to not like the ones that she's in as much.
No.
I do have...
You're more of a Lacey Chabert girl?
Anything she does. Anything Lacey does, I'm on board. Allison Sweeney, every single one. I will watch what she does.
We love Allison Sweeney in a jewel-toned puffy vest.
Yeah, solving a murder that took place in a bakery. I love her. One of the only people missing out of my Days of Our Lives autograph book.
Wow, she's not slumming it at Universal City Walk with a one-eyed dog and a bunch of you freaks.
She's moved on. She's moved on.
You know, I mean, as we didn't really wrap up, but that was kind of like, we all know where Hallmark ended up. As I mentioned in the intro, $3.5 billion in sales. They're doing extremely well. They're still a private company, still in Kansas City. They revitalized the whole town by making their big, like, Hallmark Atropolis. The son is the chairman. The family is all like part of the company CEO. So they're a good company, and they're still like very family run and operated. So, you know, that's kind of wrapping up the card side of it. And then into the movies, extremely successful. If you haven't watched a Hallmark movie this year, to me, it's not Christmas without watching at least, I'll say 25 of them.
Yeah, at least a baker's dozen. Very least a baker's dozen.
Do we have any other thoughts on Hallmark? Did I leave anything out, John? Emmy Award winning researcher.
I don't know. I learned so much today. It was so neat to hear all about Hallmark through your eyes.
Well, this is a thought from Joyce Hall. He wrote in his autobiography, and I like to think about this with our podcast, which as of now is still nonprofit. If a man or woman goes into business with only the idea of making a lot of money, chances are he won't. But if he puts service and quality first, the money will take care of itself. Producing a first-class product that is a real need is a much stronger motivation for success than getting rich. Do you agree with that? That we're putting out a top-notch quality product and the riches will follow?
I do agree that we are doing that. I also agree with the fact that it's always rich people that say, don't do things for money, just do what you love and the money will come. That the people that say that are who have had the money.
This was a penniless 9-year-old going door-to-door selling perfume.
By the squirt?
By the squirt.
Wow.
Nickel a squirt. Though back then, that's a lot of money. Back then, a nickel.
How much was a nickel in 1910?
Yeah.
$1.62? Wow. That's incredible. That's not bad money. I probably would have left school for that.
Yeah, that's worth dropping out of high school. Make your family real proud.
Well, good for him. One thing we didn't mention that I also love about Hallmark is it kind of falls in that group of iconic brands that I just love the font choice that they use. I love the look of the, I don't know, I'm sure it's probably, actually I'm not sure, but it's probably a custom made font. I love the look of it. I love the crown. That's the right use of the word crown.
Finally, you learned how to say crown.
Wait, is that why they bought Crayola? Because of the crown?
Because you say crayon as crown?
Because I say crown for Crayola crowns.
It might be why.
But no, it's a gorgeous looking font.
Stunning logo. I mean, honestly, in our question of what logo to get tattooed, it might be the Hallmark crown.
Oh my God, it's funny that
crown.
You said that. Even the crown, before I came over here, I was looking for something to wear. I couldn't find it. I thought about wearing my Basquiat t-shirt because he was known for drawing these gold crowns. And that was also possibly going to be an Easter egg for Crayola,
wow. Too. So that's it for Hallmark. This was a beautiful, cozy holiday story. I hope everybody's hearts are warmed and you got some little tidbits to pass around your Secret Santa. John, do you have a brand new news for us?
You know, I do have a brand new news. Is it the most exciting brand news you've ever heard? Yeah. Little Debbie's. Okay, it's not the most exciting, but
It would have to be pretty shocking for a Little Debbie story to be the most exciting brand news. Little Debbie is wanted for murder.
I was about to say Little Debbie died. And no, this is not an Easter egg for Little Debbie. I can't do an Easter egg because who knows what the future will bring. But Little Debbie, are you a fan? They have apparently fans for their Christmas line of cakes. They're known for these Christmas tree cakes that they make.
I have had those trees. They are yummy.
Vanilla, you can get chocolate. You know, it's all the comfort of a Little Debbie snack cake in a new shape with some stripes and sprinkles. Well, this year, and if I'm wrong, please feel free to correct me. I had not seen this before.
Are you a Little Debbie person?
You know, I'm a oatmeal cream pie person.
Ooh, yes.
I love an oatmeal cream pie. When I was younger, our school would sell Star Crunches. I think those are still a thing, which is kind of like a Rice Krispie chocolate hockey puck with caramel in it.
Yeah.
I love those. I love I am a Little Debbie guy. I love a Nutter Butter. I love a zebra cake.
I think the list goes on and on, my friend.
I have a Little Debbie tramp stamp. I am all about Little Debbie. Well, this year, and I don't know if they do this always, it's the first time I've noticed they've Christmas-fied their entire line.
Fun.
So not only do they have the traditional chocolate and vanilla Christmas tree cakes, they made their brownies into Christmas trees. They're making iced gingerbread cookies. They made their Nutter Butters into North Pole Nutter Butters. They make snowflake brownies. Like I saw the little display at Target, and all the boxes are red and white, and all the snacks have somehow been covered in white and red and green, and it's all Christmassy, and it's all very fun. I bought the gingerbread cookies, said that they were soft bake. I'm a sucker for a corporate soft baked cookie. And I opened them up, and I got to say, the gingerbread man was so tiny. I was shocked. I don't know if that's part of shrinkflation or whatever that is that people are talking about. The man was very small, looked very unimpressive, but I got to tell you, he was delicious.
Ooh, so not too gingery?
No, it was like a perfect blend of ginger and icing. I think I had 4 of them, which, you know, in reality is one.
Yeah, one full-size man. I'm assuming.
A ginger family.
I think you just ate like 4 kids. I have a question about cookies.
Oh, let's...
And this is something that like has weighed on my heart for a long time. Why crunchy cookie stale soft? Why soft cookie stale hard? Do you understand what I mean when I say that?
I think I do, but the way it sounded made you sound insane.
Why crunchy cookie, when it is soft, say an Oreo, the package is left open, not airtight, the crunchy Oreo turns soft. Yet, if you have a soft cookie that is left out to staleify, it turns crunchy.
I think...
What is happening?
It's for the same reason, or at least the same science, that when I go like this, it's cold air. And when I go like this, it's hot air.
You think that is the same science as why crunchy cookie soft, why soft cookie crunchy?
I'm sorry. I think that's the same science as what?
Why crunchy cookie soft, why soft cookie crunchy?
Yes, I think it's the same science as and it's the old and ha effect.
I didn't go to college. John went to photography school. If anybody among us is like...
go to photography school.
Anybody among us is a scientist, let us know, because this is something that has like, it's honestly plagued me for years.
Well, I don't feel like you were shocked enough by what I was saying.
Well, because that is obviously stupid.
How come when I go like this, it's cold, and when I go like this, it's hot?
Feels like you're just presenting an entirely different phenomenon unrelated to my why crunchy cookie goes soft, why soft cookie go crunchy.
That's valid. I think mine's more interesting, though. Al, you tell us which avenue to discuss.
Cookie soft cookie.
He can't even say yours. All right, fine. Crunchy cookie soft. Why? I don't know.
You've had this happen before. You have a soft cookie. If it goes stale, it gets crunchy. I mean, we all know what I'm talking about. I'm not the first person to like wonder this. I can't be.
Do crunchy cookies soft?
Yes, if an Oreo is left out and the bag is not tightly sealed, the Oreo loses its crunch and turns soft.
Are you leaving it in water?
I do leave it in a bowl of cat water in my kitchen. No, if I have a container of like Trader Joe's crunchy almond dark chocolate cookies and they're not kept airtight, they turn into soft cookies. So these are Jon and my quandaries. If anybody has any thoughts, write to us. Let us know. We're not scientists. We're brilliant podcasters.
No, apparently I went to photography school.
Didn't you go to photography school?
No.
Yeah, I think you majored in photography.
I went to normal college.
Yeah, I thought you majored in photography. I think you went to art school.
Graphic design.
Okay, same thing.
It's not the same thing.
You took a photography class. Did you take a photography class?
Of course I took
Okay, so there you go. You went to photography school. Okay. We will be back next week with an all-new mystery episode. Not even Jon knows.
I do know.
If you like the show, please write a nice review. You can write to us on Instagram. You can see video clips of the show. You can see us. And we love hearing from you guys. So write to us on Instagram or Apple Podcasts if you have a thought on the brand or if you have a funny story or a brand you would like us to talk about. We love to hear from you guys.
Yeah, more people are finding us on TikTok.
Ooh, that's great.
So please continue to do that. Right now, it's a lot of the same content that you're going to see on Instagram, but coming up in the new year, the plan is to have different content on both social media platforms.
Maybe Jon will go rogue and like rant about Little Debbie snack cakes not having enough frosting.
Yeah, I'm planning on going rogue and ranting and raving about everything I can, maybe even reviewing some things.
I love that. So join us next week with an all-new episode of On Brand.
Thanks, guys. Bye.
See ya.
If you're looking to streamline your audio advertising buys and maximize your revenue, look no further than Triton Digital's programmatic audio advertising exchange, A2X. The private exchange consists of only licensed broadcasters and top-tier internet radio publishers, assuring the quality inventory and brand safety you can trust. Visit www.tritondigital.com to learn more.